Attitude Era, despite probably saving the company and the combination of WCW shitting all over themselves, was probably the worst era of professional wrestling in the history of this business. It was absolute and utter garbage. Yes, it produced massive stars like The Rock and Stone Cold. It pushed Jericho past his WCW, ECW levels to new stardom. You know, he was the number 3 guy in the company. But other than that, it was garbage. The storylines were awful. Women's wrestling was disgusting. Bra and panty matches, having shit drop down from the ceiling onto people. Beer trucks, milk trucks, fucking corpses being dragged across a cemetery on a coffin, blowing up vehicles, shit winding up in the ocean. I mean, it was just absolute garbage. But yet the same people who are shitting on the product now were head over heels in love with the Attitude Era, and they make believe like wrestling never existed before the Attitude Era. DX, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I mean, Shawn Michaels was already a star. Triple H was blasted into the company, you know, after leaving WCW. You know, when he got the Triple H gimmick, you know, that his career took off. Not that I don't think his career ever would have not taken off, because as soon as he started, you know, banging Steph, he was going to get pushed to the promised land anyway. It wouldn't have mattered. So don't sit here and, you know, say, hey, you know, this company sucks. I hate their product is garbage. First of all, have legitimate gripe about the product. The writing is shit. Absolutely, the writing is awful. Okay? Is it worse than the Attitude Era? No, it's absolutely better than the Attitude Era. Stop complaining about part-time workers. Well, Brock Lesnar is a part-time champion. I'm tired of him. He doesn't show up. Wrestling is a work. People write storylines. WWE signed Brock Lesnar to do exactly what Brock Lesnar is doing because that's what they wanted out of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't call up WWE and say, hey, I want to show up to today's show, but not next week's. That's not the way it works. And I just don't understand the lack of knowledge and the utter stupidity of fans who shit all over wrestlers because they hold the wrestler responsible for bad storylines, bad matches, bad outcomes. They're just doing what they're told to do, what they're paid to do, what they're under contract to do. And now we get to the contracts. You had all these rumors going out there. People, stop reading dirt sheets. None of these people have any credible sources at all. Sources say, my sources say, our sources have told us. These sources are just a bunch of nerds sitting around talking about what possibly can happen and reading into talent's tweets and twisting it around to be something else. And then they write about it and they put it up. And then everybody else copies and pastes that story, putting a little bit of a different twist on it or adding a different line in a paragraph and making it their own. And then you have one story that's not true, and then you have 135 stories that aren't true, all because they have a source. They don't have a source. WWE talent is not going to talk to a 2-bit carny dirt sheet and tell them what they're not under contract to do or don't do. They're not going to chance getting buried in WWE to tell a dirt sheet that they asked for their release and was denied. And then all the silly rumors. Batista, he's going to be at the Royal Rumble. Still waiting. No Batista. The Rock is coming back. Still no Rock. I think he's a little busy making like 10 movies a year. Abyss gonna be at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, that didn't happen either. Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's on the contract. He can't go to Royal Rumble or he breaches his contract, takes a chance of being sued. But everybody still thought he was going to be there. Kenny Omega wasn't there. And we can just keep going on and on and on. Everybody's an expert. Kenny Omega turned down WWE, signing with AEW. There is absolutely no proof, nothing contractual, factual about that statement. Unless Kenny Omega himself said it. Which I don't recall him saying. So what source do they have? Because the only guy that really has any sources, that's, any credible sources, is Dave Meltzer, and he's a putz. And I swear people tell him false information, so he goes out there and announces it, so he looks like a jackass when he gets it wrong. Dave Meltzer has absolutely ruined professional wrestling. Because he releases information that just ruins everything, the shock value of the entertainment and the sport, by telling people what's going to happen. And then complains about it. The Revival asked for their release. Well, the Revival never said they asked for their release, so... And they're still wrestling with the company. They were just on the pay-per-view. They were just on Monday Night Raw. They were just fighting for the title. Maria and Mike Kanellis asked for their release. Neither one of them put it on their Twitter that they asked for their release and they were turned down. Maria was just in the Women's Royal Rumble. They didn't need to. They could have brought back Trish. They could have brought back Lita, Beth Phoenix, Molly Holly, Alundra. No, Maria was in it. Hideo Itami, he actually did ask for his release and was granted release, which means he can't do anything for 90 days for the point where his contract was terminated. If WWE allowed him to get his release and granted him his release, it's not a fear of him running to AEW to become a superstar there. He probably wants to go home. Was he utilized properly here? Probably not. Is he capable of so much more? Absolutely. Was he going to get that here? No. There was a lot of people predicting that he was going to win the title on the NXT TakeOver. Or whenever they did the 205 Live show. That didn't happen. Now we got Dean Ambrose telling WWE that he will not sign an extension to his contract in April after WrestleMania. WWE released it, which again, if anybody pays attention to WWE, I don't remember WWE ever discussing contracts while somebody was under contract. I know when they've released people, they put it on WWE. Thanks, in your future endeavors, blah blah blah. That's become a joke after a while. But I don't remember them ever reporting that a superstar is not re-signing with the company while he's still under contract. So I think it's a work. I think WWE and Dean Ambrose probably either re-signed or they're gonna re-sign after Mania. There's going to be some swerve. I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest with you. But if he does, he does. But why is it every single time someone wants to leave the company, it's, he's going to AEW. AEW. They're scaring the WWE. They can start losing people. And I said on a post that AEW is not a reason for people to run away. Chris Jericho said he's making more money now than he ever did with WWE. So do you think that everybody's going to leave a job security, guaranteed pay, run over to AEW for who knows what, for a guy that's going to pay you more. Sound familiar? It sounds like WCW all over again. So everybody's going to go running to AEW for more money, which everybody ran to WCW for more money. And what happened to WCW? Again, AEW has no network. TNT, TBS, rumor. All rumor. More dirt sheets. Nobody actually calls anybody and researches the story. Nobody calls the network and speaks to a network representative to find out if there's a possibility of AEW wound up on it. No. It's just a rumor, and then everybody repeats it over and over again. Will some of these people leave and go to AEW? I'm sure they will, because they're going to want to wrestle. But guys like Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho, they've taught people that you don't need WWE to make money. Well, if you don't need WWE to make money, that means you're marketing yourself correctly. You're your own brand. That means you don't need AEW either. That means you could go on the indies and you could get your due, what you're worth. You could go to signings, conventions, fan fests, cons, whatever it is, and get your worth. So I don't get it. Of course. I just got sent the message that the all-knowing Rob Feinstein, the Dean Ambrose deal is not a work, for those wondering. Many fans have asked me, and he's leaving. Because, the all-knowing Rob Feinstein, so if he said it, it must be true. Because he's told the truth every single time he opens his mouth. Right? Convince me otherwise. And if it's not a work, it's not a work. I don't care. I don't care where Dean Ambrose goes. If Dean Ambrose wants to go to AEW, let him go to AEW. If he wants to go to Impact, let him go to Impact. He wants to go somewhere where he's got more freedom for his creativity, then let him go somewhere for his more freedom for his creativity. But I just think it's really weird that a guy that went in that morning told Vince McMahon that he's not coming back after his contract expires in April. But that he put them out there in the ring in a major segment of the show with Seth Rollins and Triple H, and gave him a match against Seth Rollins the same day. So either Vince McMahon absolutely loves Dean Ambrose at a point where he can't be mad at him and he's just going to continue to reward him, or Vince McMahon has lost his touch and he no longer buries people for threatening to leave the company. I have no idea. Like if Dean Ambrose would have came out with like a mop and he was talking to a mop, or gave him some stupid thing to do until he left, punishing him for wanting to leave, then I would believe it. But the simple fact that they put him in a major storyline on the show, makes no sense. But again, if he's leaving, he's leaving. I don't have any problems with it. Fans shouldn't have any problems with it. Fans should be happy for Dean Ambrose. So you say, yo, Dean, go get your shit, man. Go get your worth. Go make a buck. You want to bring back Jon Moxley? Do that. That's great. If talent hasn't realized that WWE, for the most part, doesn't allow them to do crazy-ass gimmicks, they dummy them down because they're an investment and they want them to be able to wrestle that, 280, 290 times a year. You can't do that when you're wrestling like you do at the indie level and you're throwing yourself off the ring, you're throwing yourself off cages, you're crashing through tables, 7 to 8 times a weekend. Your career is not going to be long. I understand what you did got you noticed and got you on TV, but going in just throughout the history of wrestling in this industry.